We all experience stiff neck at some point of our life. It often happens after sleeping in awkward position, perhaps on the couch or in a plane, after working for far too long in front of the computer, particularly with poor posture, shoulders drawn up, or after some repetitive activities, particularly with overhead shoulder movement. So you can think about some houseworks, for example, cleaning windows, painting, or trimming branches. All that often contributes to some stiffness, pain in the neck area, one side or the other, or maybe on the back, or maybe pain is traveling a little bit down your spine. And I'm not talking about any serious injuries to the neck, nothing involving joint or nerve damage. It is simply some muscular tightness due to some of those activities that I mentioned before that contribute commonly to some muscular aches and pains around the neck. In case if you experience some fall or maybe a car accident, or if it looks a little bit more serious to what I just mentioned, you will have to consider seeing a health professional face-to-face. In the first part of this video, I will cover some self-care strategies that I use myself when I have a bit of neck pain or stiffness. But remember, I also talked before about activating those bigger muscles from under your armpit to take the pressure off smaller neck muscles. So in the second part of the video, I will cover some exercises that I use again to activate those bigger muscles to get a habit of drawing your shoulders down and protecting your neck this way. However, when it is safe, I would advise you to seek a professional advice on that, whether it is some supervised Pilates classes or working with experienced personal trainer. So we will start with active range of motion tests for our neck. So for this purpose, I would like you to sit comfortably on a chair or on yoga block. So first, what I want you to do is to bring your chin to the chest and observe how does it feel. So try to go as far as you can. We should be able to nearly touch our chest. Okay, so you may observe some stretch or pull on the back of your neck, or maybe down in the mid-back, maybe some pain, maybe some mild discomfort, or maybe even a headache, sort of on the back of your head. Then I want you to look up, so reverse motion, go as far as you can and see how does it feel. Does it recreate any discomfort on the back of your neck, or maybe some discomfort on the front of your neck? Then bring your ear to the left shoulder. So still looking straight forward, and bring your right ear to the shoulder. So you may feel in this case maybe some mild stretch on the other side that is stretched, or maybe you can feel some discomfort on the same side that you're tilting your head to. Then look over the left shoulder, go as far as you can, observe the sensations in this motion, and go over the right shoulder. And so you can repeat those motions to compare how one side feels comparing to the other, how far you can go. And I do encourage you to do it in front of the mirror so you can actually see how far you can go. Because neck is so connected with mid-back stiffness problems, I want you to do additionally flexion and extension for the trunk. So what I want you to do is, apart from bringing your chin to the chest, make yourself slouch, so collapsing your rib cage, right? And relaxing completely your mid back and back of the neck as well, right? So see how far you can go with that. See how you feel. Is it just comfortable stretch on your back or neck, or does it recreate some sort of discomfort, tightness, stiffness? And then go back to neutral. And once again, look up. But this time I want you to push your chest up, right? So open the chest, look up into the sky as you also make yourself extend your back, right? It's not a great motion. For some, it might be very subtle, but just feel if you feel any tightness around your spine, right? So at any level of the spine, might be mid back, might be low back, even might be back of the neck. And go back to the neutral. With this test, it's a good indication where your tightness predominantly is, and maybe that will be a good area to focus on with our self massages. So, because stiffness of the mid back is often very much connected to neck problems, our first strategy will be mobilizing the mid back area. And for my first activity, I will use foam roller. However, I will offer alternative stretches to mobilize that area. So if you don't have a roller, just skip the roller exercise. So position yourself in front of the roller. Roller is placed horizontally on the mat. You're in front of the roller with rounded back. So you're actually in a crunched position, rounding your back and also drawing your rib cage down towards the pelvis. And so you lean on the roller with your back. Your hands are interlaced behind your head. If you happen to have long hair, tie them up, because you don't want to have your hair caught up in between your trunk and the roller. You may find that if you point your elbows forward to the front, you open the space between your shoulder blades and put those muscles a little bit on stretch, and it feels more comfortable when you massage it. So push through the heels, lift your bum up slightly, keep your rib cage drawn towards the pelvis. So we don't want to flare up your rib cage, because that may unnecessarily put pressure on your lower back. So we want to engage the core, and gently you will be rolling yourself up and down, particularly in between your shoulder blades. So you basically roll yourself down to the end of your rib cage, no lower than that. And be mindful not to flare up your rib cage at any time. And you go up nearly to the neck area. All right, so minding not to flare up your rib cage. It should feel nice. You should be using your legs for it. To cover muscles more on the side of your trunk, gently rotate your trunk to the side, and you'll be rolling yourself more on that side. And pay more attention, or maybe you can spend more time on the side that is a little bit more stiff today. Then you change the side, lean a little bit to the other side, or rotate your body to that other side. And you cover again the ribcage area. Particularly, you want to stay on the level of your shoulder blades. And you may spend here comfortably 2, 3, maybe 5 minutes rolling on the roller. It's a very good stretch and massage strategy for your mid-back. For our next activity, cat and cow, I want you to position yourself on all fours on the mat. You may actually be in front of the mirror for that one to check your alignment. So the principles are that your hands are right underneath your shoulders and your shoulders are away from your ears. So you don't want to have your shoulders drawn up to your ears. And your knees are directly under your hips, so no wider and no narrower than your hips. So have a look down how your knees are and how your hips are, and you want to have your knees directly underneath your hips. Now, you will push through your hands, and as you tuck your tailbone under and relax your neck. So you will be looking towards your navel. Right, so that will be the cow position. Then the opposite movement to it is you want to drop your chest and your abdomen as you look up and as you flex your pelvis. Okay, so you make yourself extend that back. Then the opposite, push through the hands and push the shoulder and rib cage up as you tuck your tailbone under and look towards your navel. So breathe in and breathe out. Use your abs for that as well. So at the end of breath out, you should have your core nicely engaged. Our next exercise is opening like a book, which is a great mobilization for your spine, great warm-up for the muscles along the spine, and a great stretch for your low back. Position yourself on the side on the mat. I will use the roller here under my head, but you don't have to use anything, or you may use some sort of pillow. So your back in line, so you don't want too much rounding of your back, but not too much extension, right? So back in line, your hips and knees bent comfortably and knees and hips stacked on each other. Your bottom arm is stretched out in front of you and the top arm is on top of it. From the starting position, you want to slide the top hand over your forearm and take it to the other side as you follow the hand with your eyesight. So you want to rotate the trunk and your neck as you take the hand to the other side. Very important is to keep your knees together, right? So you don't want to open your pelvis and your knees like this as you roll to the other side. So once again, sliding that top hand, rotating your trunk and your neck, and looking at that hand And you may touch the floor with the back of your hand, maybe with the forearm as well. And eventually you would like to touch the floor with your shoulder. And then you come back the same way, rotate back, touch the hand. Maybe you can go a little bit past that bottom hand. And the same thing again. Follow that hand with your eyesight and close the book. So we open the book with that trunk rotation and then we close the book. The same on the other side, and you may find that one side can be a little bit more stiff or less mobile than the other. It's pretty common. Now we're going to be rolling on the ball against the wall. So grab your ball, whether it's tennis ball or rubber ball or spiky ball. This exercise can be done also on the floor. However, against the wall, you have more control on how deep you want to go into the muscle. Therefore, start rolling yourself up against the wall, and then, if you want, you may try rolling yourself on the floor. The muscles we want to target in this exercise are the paraspinal muscles along the spine on both sides. So we're targeting the area in between our spine and the shoulder blades, right? So we'll start lower and we're gonna work our way up towards the neck. And so very important, try not to hit the spine and not to hit the bony parts of your shoulder blade. So we only want to stay on the muscly part, not on the bone. So you're going to stand with your back towards the wall. You're going to put the ball against your back and the wall. Stay on soft knees so you can operate, you will control the movement from your legs. And I would encourage you to slightly tuck your pelvis under so you will engage your core this way. If you need to have that ball lower, and we'll start lower, simply take the upper back away from the ball as the ball rolls down along your spine. Okay, so we'll start more or less in the middle of our back, and remember to stay slightly crunched in your abs, and you will be squatting slightly as you roll the ball up and down your spine on each side. So it can be up and down rolling motion, or it could be slightly circular motion, right? So in this case, you're squatting and rolling that ball in circles. So remember, you only want to target the muscly area, not the bones. Once you hit some tender spots, you may stay on it and breathe through it. So use your diaphragmatic breathing to wait for that release. So covering paraspinal muscles. Work your way up from the more or less mid-back into the neck area. Particularly towards the top of your shoulder blades, you'll have a lot of tender spots. So on each tender spot, stay on it, breathe through it. Other strategy I can give you is you can use shoulder motion, right? So gently take your shoulders into a circle as you're staying on that tender spot. All right, so you're taking the muscle slightly into stretch and also into shortened position, right? Alternatively. To get to the top of the shoulder, simply play with your body position, right? Remember to have your core on, but you may lean a little bit more to get the top fibers and the top muscles of your shoulders. Right? You can even rotate yourself and you can get the muscles on the base of your neck nicely in this position as well. And of course, remember to do the other side. So starting in the middle of our back, rolling on the ball, and here you can control the depth of that rolling. If something feels a bit too intense, simply back off. You don't have to lean the whole body against the ball. Yeah. Pelvis tucked under, and you're squatting as you lean backwards on the ball. Okay, then working on the upper back and towards the neck. Rolling yourself in circles, looking for tender spots. And playing with your positioning to actually get well into the tender spots. Yeah. I can actually nicely reach the small muscles on the back of my neck as well, this way. For the first time, you might be slow with this motion and gentle for yourself. So it shouldn't cause you pain. It should feel reasonably pleasant, or it should feel like it does something to your muscle, like it releases the muscle rather than causing pain for the sake of it. You can also massage your neck muscles with the ball in seated position as long as you can reach with your hand to that area. Very important is that we don't want to massage our front of the neck. So anything in front of this muscle that pops up when we rotate our head to the other side, right? So you can check in the mirror. When you rotate your head to the opposite side, that muscle pops up. It's called SCM. When you rotate your neck to the other side, the opposite muscle pops up, right? So this is our SCM muscle. You can pincer grip it. So we don't want to massage in front of this SCM muscle, right? Here we've got two sensitive and two fragile structures that we can easily damage, so we never massage on this side. However, you can massage comfortably, massage that are sitting behind SCM muscle. Okay, all around in between your clavicle and SCM muscle. So you can target it with the ball. You can massage back of your neck on each side of your spine, and you can very nicely target top of your shoulder, right? The muscly part on top of your shoulder, as long as you can reach that area. So using our ball, so I like to hold the ball loosely, so I'm working from my fingers rather than from tight fist. So I have the ball in this position. It's also I can juggle with the ball easily. And so I can either use the opposite shoulder or I can use the same shoulder. So first, with the opposite shoulder, that's usually what I do. I will place the ball on top of my shoulder I may sometimes help myself with the other hand, pushing on my elbow. And I want to roll the ball and with my fingers push the ball against the muscly part of my shoulder, not the bones. Right? So working in circles, kneading the area with the ball, and that comes from pushing with the fingers against my shoulder and the muscles of the area. So comfortably I can cover top of the shoulder, the muscly bit, comfortably. So if I work on the top of my shoulder, my head is slightly tilted to the other side. So I'm applying slight stretch to those muscles. And I want to draw this shoulder downwards, right? So we want to stretch and relax those muscles as well. I can work the base of my neck as well, tilting my head away from the massage area. And I can massage back of my neck. So in this case, I will tuck my chin under, right, flexing my neck slightly. And I will push the ball into the back of my neck, only on one side. I don't want to go over the spine. So I'll be working my way from the base of the neck towards the skull. All right? And tucking my chin under to try to relax the back muscles. So I don't want to cause any unnecessarily pain sensation. That can be done with the hand of the same side, if that's more comfortable. So you simply roll the ball, pushing the ball with your fingers into the area you want to massage. So in this case, back of the neck. You can go slightly to this side. So again, I'm tilting my head away from that area and I'm pushing. So in this case, I'm rolling from fingers or maybe palm of my hand and trying to push the ball towards my skull. So these are suboccipital muscles that really get tired after long sitting in front of the computer. Okay. I can massage side of the neck. So as long as it's behind the SCM muscle, tilting my head away. As long as it feels good. If it doesn't feel any good, don't do it. So rolling the ball wherever it's comfortable in between your clavicle, SCM muscle, and the base of your head. Could be done with the other hand. You can swap if you get tired. Remember to cover the other side. So, kneading and rolling the ball, pushing it with your fingers towards the muscly part of your shoulder, between the shoulder blade and your neck. On the back of your neck, so you want to slightly tuck your chin under while tilting your neck to the other side. Working on the side of your neck in circles. You may find one side is tighter than the other, and my left side is usually tighter. This one is my right side. It's quite tight too, actually. All right. So all the way up to the skull, behind my SCM muscle. I advise you to do it in front of the mirror so you can see which muscles you're targeting. And spend more time on particularly tender spots. You can also stay on the tender spots and gently move your neck into rotations. Maybe you can do tilting and coming back to neutral, tilting to the other side, coming back to neutral, or rotating towards it, away from it. And you may feel intensifying tenderness of that point. It's a very good way to help yourself if you cannot have proper massage, or in this case, when we try to reduce contact with other people. In case if you cannot reach and you're not able to massage yourself simply with your hand on the back of the head, another alternative is using a yoga block or a book to lift the surface area for the ball. So you basically want to lay down on your back with the yoga block or the book underneath your head. And you want to place the ball on the yoga block, and we're working on one side of the spine, right? We're not working directly on the spine. So we need to rotate our head towards that side that we're working on. And so simply placing your head on the ball, you're creating pressure. Sometimes it might be a little bit too intense, so make sure to modify it. So you may have to help yourself with the other hand to lift your head slightly if it becomes too intense, right? And so what you want to do is gently lean with your head into the ball. Feel for the sensations. So we're working right underneath our skull. So those small suboccipital muscles that often give you horrible headache behind the eye. So you may simply sit on the ball and breathe through it. And shift yourself to the next spot and again sit on it and breathe through it. You may also gently move on the ball. So you're creating a little bit of movement, rotating and flexing slightly your neck. You may rotate more to that side or work a little bit more directly over the suboccipital muscle. You can shift the ball slightly towards the shoulder and you can work on the back of your neck. Again, gently moving yourself in rotations and changing position of the ball. So it's still targeting back of your neck. your chin is slightly tucked in. It may be a little bit intense, so see if it works for you. If it doesn't work for you, don't do it. So you can cover back of your neck area this way. Remember, you're doing both sides, so you will place the ball on the other side of the spine and work on the other side as well. So slightly rotating your head towards the working side, feeling for tenderness and all the sensations you may have in that area. Playing with the position of the ball against the muscles of your neck. Can feel a bit ropey as well. Definitely it will be tender. However, as long as it feels like it's doing something, it's okay. If you want to get a little bit deeper to behind your SCM, to the suboccipital muscles, you may go on your side. So once again, we're working behind our SCM, and so leaning on the ball. Sometimes you may need a little bit higher surface. You can put another book on top of it to put your neck slightly on bigger stretch. And you simply place your head on the ball. And that creates quite a good pressure to get into those muscles. Very often it will recreate terrible headache that you may have. And so breathe through it and try to wait till it's all released. As I said, if it creates some sort of symptoms like nausea, or it doesn't really feel good, it feels more like a cutting your blood circulation or giving you some sort of vertigo symptoms, stop doing it. And play with the position of your trunk, in this case again, and your neck, to get nicely into the spots that should be targeted. So right now, I experience some sort of dull ache sensation around this area. And of course, we want to work on the other side. So rolling ourselves on the other side and sitting on the tender spots. Breathing through it. Another alternative to work on top of your shoulder, if you need more pressure or if you cannot reach with your hand, you can look for either a thick table leg or maybe a door frame or a pilar in your house that you can use as a tool to help you to push yourself into it. So what you want to do is place the ball against the table leg in this case, and you will lie down and you, using your legs, you will push yourself up towards the table, and you will play with your trunk, rolling yourself or rotating your trunk slightly as you're pushing into the ball. So you'll feel quite intense pressure into your shoulder. So rolling yourself from the trunk slightly. That may help you actually be really specific on the spot that you want to work on. Once you find it, another strategy you can use is you can reach with your hand away from your body as you lean on that spot. So taking your shoulder away. Right? So you're putting the muscles on stretch slightly and you're intensifying the release. Okay. You can target nicely the base of the neck. So if you change the angle a little bit, so once again, working on the base of your neck. And so in this case, while pressing the ball into your neck, you can be rotating your head away from that area you work on. And so you may even work on different angles. So find the angle that works for you to effectively target the muscle you want to release. And breathe through it. After all these massage strategies, it's a great idea to stretch the muscles we just worked on. So for that purpose, sit comfortably on the chair or on yoga block. Important thing is to keep your spine in line and draw your shoulders down. So you may actually grab the chair and take your head into side tilt. So bring your right ear, in this case, to the right shoulder as you open up the left side of your neck and shoulder, drawing that left shoulder down. So you already have pretty good stretch going on that side. Use your breath to breathe through it. If you need a little bit more stretch, you can gently place the other hand on top of your neck. So you encourage more opening to that side. Don't pull strongly. It's more of a gentle encouraging to open up a little bit more that space. You can hold it for a good 20 to 30 seconds, breathing deeply through it. Then bring your head into more rotation towards the other side, right? Towards the other shoulder. And once again, breathe through it. You may encourage a little bit more opening. So you're stretching slightly different fibers here. Breathing through it. Now, you want to look into the opposite armpit. You really want to turn head like you wanted to sniff your armpit, right? So it's a little bit more of a neck flexion, right? So that is targeting another muscle of the neck that is often involved in that neck stiffness. And to encourage that stretch, you place your hand slightly on the back of your head and breathing through it, gently encourage more stretch into that direction. and breathe through it. "20 seconds will be enough. Then gently take the hand off and switch sides, right? Drawing the right shoulder in this case down and leaning with your head to the other side. You may encourage that stretch by placing the other hand on your head. Breathing through it. Then rotating your head slightly towards the opposite shoulder. And again, opening that area between the neck and shoulder. And breathing through it. Lastly, you want to sniff your opposite armpit and gently encourage that stretch towards the armpit. Additionally, you want to stretch the muscles of the back of your neck. So for that reason, once again, sit comfortably with your spine in line. Bring your chin to the chest as far as you can. Observe that sensation. Maybe it's all you need as far as stretch, or maybe if you need a little bit more stretch to it, place your hands gently on top of your head and encourage more stretch to it. Don't pull. It's just really the weight of your arms that brings a little bit more stretch to it. You should feel it on the back of your neck. Eventually, maybe the stretch you will feel in your mid-back as well. Breathe through it. And then gently come back to neutral. Lastly, what I want you to do is just repeat the range of motion tests that we've done at the beginning. So after all these releases and stretches, see if you feel any changes in the muscles of your neck and trunk. So I want you to take your chin to the chest and see if you can go any further than initially. And how does it feel? Is it still stiff and painful, or is it a little bit better? Is it a little bit more mobile? Then the opposite, look up to the sky and observe how does it feel now. Come back to neutral. Bring your left ear to the shoulder. And then bring your right ear to the shoulder. Then look over the left shoulder and look over the right shoulder. In my case, the movement is much smoother and I feel lighter and more mobile as well. Additionally, bring your chin to the chest and let yourself slouch. And see if you have a little bit more mobility there. Maybe it feels just a little bit looser. And opposite, as you look into the sky, push your chest up and see how does it feel. So hopefully my self-care strategies for the stiff neck brought a little change to your muscles around the neck. In the second part of this session, I will show you a few exercise suggestions with TheraBand to strengthen the big muscles from your armpit that should be drawing your shoulders down in order to protect your neck